Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that the production of products that children like to consume, such as ice cream, cereal, and candies, require palm oil? Behind these products, there is also a struggle of underage workers who are forced to work in palm oil plantations. Indonesia is one of the largest palm oil producing countries. Millions of people are employed in this sector to fulfill the daily quota. That's why this sector requires a lot of workers, and it's common for them to involve their children. They have no other choice but to work in palm oil plantations because they are trapped in the cycle of poverty. I'm Kartika Melania from Alsace Unsud. According to survey held by Sakranas, the number of child labor increased from around 1.6 million in 2019 to around 2 million in 2020. This increase is due to the coronavirus pandemic that has hit the whole world, including Indonesia. Child labor in Indonesia isn't something rare. What is surprising is that according to a survey conducted by LIPI, the child labor are mostly found in small plantations that owned by the residents or even family. The big companies didn't employ underage workers anymore because they implement Article 68 of Law Number 13 of 2003. Yes, there are regulations that protect children from exploitation, but in my opinion, these regulations are easily violated, especially by parents. Let me explain to you why. In Article 68 of Law Number 13 of 2003, it is said that the companies are prohibited from hiring underage workers. But in Article 69, Paragraph 1 of Law Number 13 of 2003, it is mentioned that children aged between 13 to 15 can do light work, as long as it doesn't interfere with physical, mental, social development, and health. They can work by fulfilling the conditions outlined in Paragraph 2. This article makes it easier for parents to exploit their children because in Article 69, Paragraph 2, it is intended that children who are going to work must obtain permission from their parents. This is just like what happened to Ima, 10-year-old girl from Riau. Her father told her to drop out of school because she needed to help her parents to fulfill the daily quota. We know that education is important for children, especially to grow and develop. It is also written in Article 28b, Paragraph 2 of 1945 Constitution that every child has rights to grow, survive, and develop, and every child has rights to protection from violence and discrimination. I believe Ima is not the only one who has to lose her right as a child. There are thousands of disadvantaged children who have to work and give up their rights as a child. Ladies and gentlemen, there are still child labor in small plantations because the existing regulations only prohibit companies from hiring underage workers. In fact, those who are still employing children are their own parents. For example, like what happened in Sebaru village in West Kalimantan. Children aged between 13 to 15 are forced to work in small plantations that are owned by their family. They don't get paid enough, so most of them also work in other plantations 3 times a week. There is no strict supervision of these activities in small plantations. So far, the government only focuses on reducing child labor on big companies. That's why the small plantations are brave enough to employ underage workers because they aren't categorized as big companies. And then the last reason is working in palm oil plantation has become a custom in society. The society thinks that children who work from an early age is good for the regeneration process. I know it is good to teach your children how to work, but aren't they too young to do heavy work? Heavy and dangerous work for children also violate Article 69, Paragraph 1 of Law Number 13 of 2003. Why is it categorized as dangerous work? Let me explain to you why. First, in the planting process is causing side effects if the children are regularly exposed to chemicals such as fertilizer and pesticides. The side effects are including skin irritation, skin burns, and even worse, it can cause death. And then in the harvesting process, the children have to push a cart which weighs twice as much as their bodies. Of course, it is heavy and dangerous work for children, considering they are physically not strong yet, and they are prone to injury at work. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, there needs to be additional regulations regarding of child labor requirements. For example, the government can add requirements such as village apparatus permission. With these permissions, the village apparatus will indirectly know what kind of work is going to be done by the children. If the children are going to do the work that is prohibited by the law, then the village apparatus are expected to permit parents to employ their children. Therefore, this permission is supposed to be a controlling system. Another solution is that the government should review small plantations. Not only reviewing, but the government should also give them warnings not to employ children. If they don't respond to the warnings, then the government should impose sanctions. With the sanctions, it is hoped that the small plantations owner will no longer exploit underage workers, and it will burden the parents who are going to involve their children to work in palm oil plantations. And the last solution, in my opinion, is that the change must be started from the society itself. The society needs to understand that education for children is more important than work. We know that education has important roles. One of them is to developing children's potential. With better education, the children will have a decent work in the future. And with education, it is hoped that the people will no longer trapped in a cycle of poverty. To sum up, there is still child labor in Indonesia, but the regulations that protect children from exploitation are still weak. There need to be actual actions to reduce or even eliminate child labor with strict regulations. The children need to be protected at all costs because the future of this country is determined by the next generation. The fulfillment of children's rights is necessary for children's development. It is hoped that we will have the outstanding children who can bring this country for the better. I'm Kartika Melania from ALSA LC Unsud. Thank you.